straight from the playbook of Play from Kid and Play. Man, I wasn't expecting to use the word play that many times. It's the Going Off podcast with rap critic and Muse. My man Muse just told me some very interesting news.
Katy Perry, who y'all may know, released an album called Witness either a year or a year and a half ago. Leading up to the album, though, I remember there was a really big thing that she was live streaming for a whole week, broadcasting her therapy session, talking with celebrity guests. There was like cooking with Gordon Ramsay, and these people were teaching her yoga, and this was all a very big introspective, you get to know her better. She was really wanting this album to be like the most personal thing she'd ever put out, so she wanted you to get to really know her. And the album was kind of DOA. It tanked. Critics tore it apart immediately. The singles didn't perform very well. And now, after all this time, Katy is coming out and saying that she was heartbroken that the album didn't perform better, which I can understand, especially when you do put that much of your time and energy and supposedly passion into a project. To see it flounder is kind of disappointing. I've been there. I think anyone who has created any type of art or anything along those lines has felt that way. But while I was looking up people's takes on that initial story, I came across another story saying that Katy Perry was announcing her return to Christianity. I don't really know how to interpret that, but all I'm saying here is the timing is a bit suspect. I don't know if she wants to be a Christian recording artist. I think she's just returning to, like, the spirituality of Christianity. It probably won't reflect in the music. Posted on 420 Blaze It 2017, posted on CBN News, it says, music superstar Katy Perry denounces her devoutly Christian upbringing. So that happened over a year ago. Then earlier this year, there's an article where Katy Perry was trying to buy this 8-acre former covenant that was owned and run by nuns some time ago. And there was this legal dispute over whether or not she could legally own this property. And in the middle of the lawsuit, one of the nuns involved, she collapsed and died in the courtroom. And now, fast forwarding just a few months, Katy Perry returns to Christianity after meeting the Pope. Katy Perry, the pop singing sensation who was raised by charismatic evangelist parents and is best known for her song about kissing a girl, I don't know about that, I think she's had bigger hits since then, claims to have returned to her, quote, Christian faith. Oh, I get it. This article is trying to put its own bias in there about, you know, she had a song about kissing a girl, and now she wants to return to her, quote, in quotes, Christian faith after meeting the Pope of Rome. Look at this. The pro-choice and pro-sodomy celebrity who has said that Hillary Clinton was her hero claims that after her meeting...
What is this website? The pro-sodomy... Like, that was one of her fucking talking points whenever she goes onto a, goes onto a talk show. I just want to let you know, I'm totally about butt fucking. You know, anytime you guys want to do that.
I got a whole song on my album about butt stuff.
Yeah, alright, Ellen, so what are we doing right after this commercial break?
Claims that her meeting with the pontiff was so life-changing, it brought her back to the faith.
Right after her album tanks, and, you know, people don't want to hear the pop shit anymore. Oh, what a coincidence, I'm sure.
Another quote here. She found liberty and freedom outside the stifling Christian environment. However, she told Vogue, I'm not Buddhist, I'm not Hindu, I'm not Christian, but I still feel like I have a deep connection with God. I pray all the time for self-control, for humility. There's a lot of gratitude in it. Just saying thank you sometimes is better than asking for things. Okay. You know, I can get behind that, because I'm not...
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm not a spiritual person myself. You know, I don't claim to belong to any sect of religion, So I could actually, I can relate to that. However, things changed for Perry recently when she had the opportunity to meet Pope Francis, okay? Speaking of the Pope, she says, I'm such a big fan of Pope Francis, which is funny, because if she's a fucking pro-sodomy pop sensation, she should actually read into some of the things Pope Francis has said against the queer community and against transgender people, and how he is so not the progressive icon that people make him sound like.
Oh, I'm sure she brought it up in the meeting. I'm sure.
It is a combination of compassion, humility, sternness, and refusal. He is a rebel for Jesus. He is bringing the church back to humility and connecting with people. He's very humble and not frivolous. Oh, okay, this seems like just more of Katy Perry talking about the Pope and less
talking about her Christian experience. Yeah, like what was the thing that made her go like, man, you know, when I was out in Paris, like I saw a homeless guy on the street and I was just like, oh my God, what have I been doing with my life? You know what I'm saying? Like there's no moment like that. She's just saying, met the Pope and he is very humble and not frivolous. What? What? Who thinks that the Pope is, who would possibly think that he is frivolous? That's a weird word to use to describe, like, you know, it doesn't mean, like, of a trivial nature. It's just like, I mean, I'd assume a fucking Pope doesn't just want to talk about Pokemon all day. Like, yeah, I'm sure he's got some important stuff to say. What did they say in this conversation? Or was this just a photo op and, oh, life's changed around so that you can have little stories peppered like this so that when she puts out the I'm a Christian now record, then it'll be like, oh, didn't you see? You know, she said that she changed her life around here, here, and here.
Here's why I'm thinking it's a bunch of bunk, pardon my French. The only articles I'm seeing that are talking about this are like the Christian Post and Pulpit and Pen. These are all just strictly Christian news sites that are grasping onto anything to try to make an article out of this. Like, even back in April, American Idol judge Katy Perry returns to Jesus? Singer shares Christian message on Instagram. That was back in April.
Like I said, I don't mean to be dissing someone if she is having a genuine journey, but as someone who is like, you know, all I can go off of is what you're doing, and when you happen to be doing it, it's like, all right. And like I said, it's not like she's saying like, man, this was my story, and, you know, I've been visiting these people, I've been talking to, like, you know, scholars and things like that. I did a photo op with the Pope, and now I'm a little bit more about spirituality. This just feels like another coat for Katy Perry. You know, because remember before when she was like, oh, I'm super woke now, but it's just like, okay, so where were you when the Black Lives Matters conversation was popping off, and you could have been a, you know, white female voice to say something about it right when it was starting, and you don't act like you didn't hear about it, because you're talking about it now as if you were cool all along, now that it's getting traction, and now that it's about team resistance and all this sort of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I will say that, yeah, Katy Perry never said anything specific, unlike Selena Gomez, who, we never even mentioned this, but someone asked Selena Gomez some time ago how she felt about Black Lives Matter, and she basically responded with, like, I don't follow this shit, hashtags don't mean shit to me, and was basically kind of did the whole both sides bullshit about how, like, she didn't really know if one side was better than the other, because she's like, you know, you can say you don't know and that you don't have the facts or the information, but she just kind of responded and she kind of like snapped in a response of like she was just sick of hearing about it because she didn't know what it was about.
At least that's honest. At least it's just like, dude, I just don't know. Like, I'm fucking Selena Gomez. I'm a millionaire. I got shit to do. I'm sorry. It's not in my purview. Like, that would be a selfish answer, but at least it would be an honest one. You know, like, I'm sorry. We can't care for every fucking cause out there. Instead of like getting angry, which I feel like she, at least from what I'm hearing from you, she at least was just honest about it, being like, look, dude, you want all us actors to be, you know, political voices and da-da-da-da, and it's just like, when you, like, you're saying all this stuff, but it's like, that's not what you really want. You just want me to be in the next, you know, song, the next movie, the next thing that makes you dance. Why the fuck are you bothering me for this, you know?
In an interview where Brendon Urie of Panic at the Disco came out as pansexual, that was the headline that got everyone's attention. But in that interview, this person just starts asking about, like, what about all this, like, Bill Cosby shit and the Me Too movement, and what do you think about cancel culture? I'm sure it's not what he expected the interview to be. He was like, I don't know, man, and he kind of gave a tone-deaf, ignorant answer on the thing. They were asking him about cancel culture, and he brought it around to people were protesting the NFL over players kneeling, and he brought it back around to people protesting Roseanne over her tweet, and kind of compared the two.
Yeah, he is trying to play both sides.
Saying, we're toying with people's careers here either way, we kind of need to be more careful. And didn't seem to understand the weight and the importance of what Roseanne tweeted, and kind of just muddled the messages between the two.
Yeah, that is the problem. And the thing about him is, like, guys like him who are, really rich, they're already at the top, they don't have to worry about anything, they're not thinking about how their words get heard by people who are just coming to this conversation. They think, oh, well, here's, and of course, it's stupid. No, you should not be taking your political advice from Brendon fucking Urie. But still, that's what happens. The more voices that are out here trying to make it seem like, oh, the racists are the exact same people who want the racists to stop beating them. Like, yeah, it's exactly the same argument. If we're all just arguing over whatever, it's like, no. That type of discussion would be like, how much money should we be donating to our Department of Defense as opposed to, Department of Agriculture? Like, maybe we can have those little discussions of like, well, I feel like this is more important. Well, I feel like this is more important. No, this is literally about, like, disrespecting people's racial identities and making racist rhetoric normalized. That's the shit that Roseanne Barr was saying. It wasn't just, I have opinion about the 3% tax bill, and everyone's saying, oh, fuck her because we disagree. No, it's so-and-so looks like an ape. Like, that's not just an opinion. That is racism.
I think it goes back to people just want to think that all these pop celebrities and everyone think the same #resistance way that everyone generally does. And back in the day, if you wanted to go on bullshit Bill Maher's Politically Incorrect or his dog shit show that he has now, and you want to talk about issues, then you put yourself in that situation, right? But now, if you're just being approached for an interview and you got a new album out and you want to tell the world about your sexuality and you want to get that off your chest, and now all of a sudden you're being roped into a discussion about the Me Too movement and cancel culture. It's like, I don't know if you necessarily signed up for that. So it's like, yeah, we can judge them for their ignorant stance on things, but also I think it's important to think about, were they prepared for that?
Yeah, he didn't come out here saying, yeah, you know what I want to talk about today? It was probably like, shit, I hadn't thought about it. And again, we have this idea of, like, when someone asks you that question that one time, oh, that must be your stance forever and ever, amen. Here's where I draw the line. If the liberals are saying, hey, why are you finding these NFL players, and at the same time, fire Roseanne, they're doing the exact same thing that the conservatives are doing. Yeah, this is because you're not giving context to why, people are saying fire Roseanne, because, again, you're acting like it's just, what? They just want to fire because they disagree with her opinion. No, it's rhetoric that is dangerous. But someone like him doesn't sound like someone who's like, oh, I mean, again, could be, maybe, I don't know someone's heart. But unless he's, out and out fucking doing the Nazi fucking salute, like, all I can say is he just seems like someone who's just not very well educated on it. And it's okay to not be educated on it and just be like, oh, shit, I'm sorry, I didn't realize the severity. I'm fucking doing shows and I got stuff to do. I wasn't expecting to be a political fucking pundit.
Right, and at the end of the day, he is a cis white guy. And I'm gonna say, like, I think it's important to note, because people get on my back all the time when I bring that up, but even if he is a queer individual, right, like, queer people can be wrong about shit, too. Like, I think people get the misconception that when I say that on the show, when I specify that someone is straight, white, or a male, that I'm critiquing the whole group for that, and I'm not. It's about the perspective, it's about the life experiences, and if this guy just happens to check off queer, that's okay, but that doesn't mean he's going to be the most knowledgeable about black experience.
And the thing is, we all have blind spots, and because you're not fully informed on something, I think what we end up doing is if someone wasn't as informed as we are, as woke as we are about something, yeah, we end up doing stuff like, oh yeah, see, this is hard because this is definitely someone trying to speak out both sides of his mouth and look like he's a moderate by saying, oh, look, I don't, go on either side. This is someone who said something that is demonstrably racist. And so it's like, and don't say, oh, you're just flinging around the racist word. No, she said that, do I need to pull up the tweet? You know what I'm saying? She said she looks like an ape.
You heard her response, her flying off the handle, seeming like she might be on some medication right now.
Right. Oh my God.
I will 100% judge Roseanne for her tweet, but I'm gonna say that video is not someone who is in the right state of mind. I'm just gonna say that. I don't know what's going on in Roseanne's personal life, but she seemed like she may have been under an influence of some kind, because that doesn't seem like the response that someone just calmly in an interview would have. But going back briefly to tie this whole thing up about Katy Perry is that on the surface, it does seem a bit suspect that she would pick now to bring up any sort of return to her Christian roots or anything. But I'm glad we looked up these stories, because it seems like these folks in particular who want an ally so bad, almost like going back to how the folks on the right were so happy that Kanye was all of a sudden a free thinker of sorts, that they're willing to latch on to Katy Perry and say, ooh, look, she's so willing to jump back on our side now, we got to embrace this. But mainstream media is like, yeah, this isn't a fucking story, because it's whatever. And I think the reason that it isn't so much of a story is because Katy Perry, for better or worse, has kind of built a reputation on being someone who does do sort of publicity stunts. I mean, just going back to the fucking week-long live stream for the album. So you can't blame us for thinking that her saying this is just another one of those things. Or it could very well be a realistic, personal return back to some type of spiritual roots, but it seems like she's never got off that boat. It seemed like she was always that sort of like deeply spiritual, but not necessarily assigning it to a specific religion. So it doesn't really seem like a whole lot has changed. And I think people are just kind of making it a bigger deal than it really is.
Okay, so here's my thing. You know about the whole James Gunn thing, right?
Yes.
Man, I think that if someone is not currently promoting the sort of rhetoric that they may have promoted a couple such and such years ago, I think when they're called out, what should happen is, I mean, if they agree, if they have changed, right? That's the big thing. I really think we have this thing of like, someone was bad at one point and they are now cursed forever. Because like, I remember someone was talking about, it was someone who's like people will call it quote unquote social justice warrior, but like when they were a teenager, they posted some like edgelord shit or something like that. And they were like, yeah, the reason why is because I was 14 and 15 and I thought that, oh yeah, don't care about the world, don't give a fuck, da 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 da. And it's like, but since then, I don't push that message and I'm actively pushing against that message. You don't have to forgive me for things I mean, like, you don't know that person. But I think you should look at what they have done since then and weigh how you think of them now against that. That's how I feel. Like I said, Roseanne was racist 10 years ago and she was racist last week.
The deal with James Gunn is that this came up 6 years ago. The exact same tweets were brought up 6 years ago. Probably when he was named to be the director of the first Guardians, or maybe even before that. I guess that would have been before that. And he apologized. People got past it. They didn't make a big deal about it. They were like, all right. And he admitted fully that, they were fucked up and wrong and they should have been deleted. And he didn't stand by those talking points or those jokes anymore. The only reason it's coming back again now is because it's being led by your alt-right 4chan Mike Chernovich folks who are doing it in bad faith. See, that's the issue. If this was some people who saw these rape jokes, these pedophilia jokes, and were affected, and they were victims of rape or victims of pedophilia, and they were like, this is fucked up, this is wrong, he shouldn't have said these things, then yeah, it's 100%, it's like they have every right to come forward and say that they were offended. But when it's people that are doing it out of bad faith just to get someone fired, then that's not something I can get behind. I said some horribly offensive things a long time ago, but since then I've been trying to be very active in apologizing for that shit, denouncing that shit. I've got rid of any trace of that shit because that's not who I am anymore. And I don't want people to go online and look that shit up and think that's who I am today. And for someone who has maybe didn't think to delete that shit, that is a mistake. But to not delete it doesn't mean that he still stands by it exactly. It's probably just not what you'd think about. Because, I mean, if you're a director of multi-million-dollar franchises, your fucking Twitter account probably isn't your biggest priority, especially tweets from a decade ago. You wouldn't really think about that shit.
I feel like there is a bit of a problem with that, with the idea of, like, in and of itself, just like someone did something problematic, canceled. You know, because it's just like, well, then are we trying to learn from anything, or are we just going back to the punishment, just someone does wrong and we punish them thing that has fucked up our entire prison system at the current moment. People going back to jail multiple times because when they get out of jail, well, no one wants to hire them. And so it's just like, hey, I'm not that racist person anymore, but oh no, no one who's not within that racist circle wants to have me on their show to let me explain. Oh, but the conservative alt-right guy will have me on his show. Shit. Fuck it. You know what? This is the only audience I'm going to be able to get. I need to get a fucking paycheck. Fine. I'll fucking go. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's how that shit happens. So I caution the people who are like, yo, let's cancel let's cancel that. Yo, if they're unrepentant and an asshole, yeah, fuck them. But if it's someone, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's have discretion. If it's someone who obviously it does not think that way, then let's be like, all right, cool. Let's, you're all right. Well, let's have the conversation move over. We're going to keep an eye on your ass, you know, in case you do some dumb shit again, and we're going to correct your ass. But it's just like, no one's born with their eyes open, right? Like, you know, it's like you have to have experiences that make you go, oh, shit. Oh, okay. I didn't understand that.
This week on the Going Off podcast, I want to say this is a first time ever. We are reviewing 2 albums by the same artist in chronological order as to see if there was any growth in the artist's progression as he went. We're talking about Kyle, Super Duper Kyle, starting first with his album Smyle, requested by B-Hop on Patreon. And if there's an album that you want to request, just head over to our Patreons, patreon.com/rapcritic or patreon.com/muse for details. And we're also talking about Light of Mine, which came out just earlier this year. Darren, what did you think of Smyle by Kyle?
Dude, can I straight up just say this right now? If this is where, like, pop rap is going, I'm all about it.
Oh, you have no idea how happy I am you said that. I was like, oh no. But dude, abso-fucking-lutely, I'm here for it.
Oh my god. First of all, I just want to say his style, like his voice, like it always sounds like he's smiling.
See, I think that might happen to be because it sounds like he has a big tongue.
You think that's it?
It always sounds like it's taking up a lot of space in his mouth. I don't think that's something he can control. But no, I absolutely agree. It does sound like that.
Oh my god, this music is cotton candy. You can hear the bright lights and the colors of the fireworks, and oh my goodness. Remember that whole thing with Lil Uzi Vert? And I was like, you know, he did that one music video that kind of looked like anime. And it seems like lately there's a big thing of like playing up the weirdness of, you know, the newer, younger batch of artists.
I think it's because, like, a lot of them like that type of shit, and they're being able to, like, interject more of the personality and interests into their art now.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, but there's a difference between someone, you know, doing a cool sort of homage to their favorite type of music and fucking Soulja Boy doing, you know, anime swag. Bitch, I look like Goku. You know what I mean? Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Soulja Boy was really into that shit. So it's like, for a guy who...
But he's still a bad rapper.
Yeah, so. He couldn't fucking put it across. It's like, damn it. He really had the passion there, but he still didn't know what to do with it.
I was listening to this. I could not stop smiling. Kyle got me to smile, damn it. He did his job. But here's the thing. like going off of, it's funny. Last week we're listening to Tupac and we're like, oh man, I'm tired of all this death and destruction of suicide, all stuff. Jesus, man, like we need some more. And like a blessing from above, Kyle comes out with his one gold tooth smile, and it's like, hey guys, I got something for you. Oh my God. When Don't Want to Fall in Love comes in, and it's exactly the sample you think it is, but it's slightly sped up. I was like, I see you.
That sample was used so fucking well. The fucking beats on this album are so good.
It almost knocked me over. Like, oh my God.
So good. Dude, I hate that it took us this long to talk about Kyle after we talked about him in the freshman class of last year. It took us over a year. Look, even really, which at first I didn't care for. You know what it is.
Yeah, when you hear it, you know exactly what it is. This is the lead single sort of song. Like, this is the, my battle rap song that lets him know to not mess with me. Like, all right. But even that, like, after a while, I couldn't help it. I was going right. Really? Yeah, really? Yeah, I couldn't help it.
He's absolutely right when he's like, my worst shit is good. It's like, dude, this probably is the worst song on the album, and it's still really good.
Oh, and what I love is the interjection from that chick who's just like, really? Nah, fuck no, this is corny, my name.
No one's gonna be singing along to this shit. This shit corny, yeah. That's exactly how I was feeling, and then the song fucking turned it around. It was like, no, you're gonna like this.
Isn't that awesome? Like, oh my God, like that's some balls right there. But then here's the thing. Kyle is all smiles, right? Till you get to Remember Me. The thing is, he's still smiling, but there's like that sort of I'm pretending that I'm letting on that I know less than I think I know. That sort of like, literally, to give you an example, he says, this song's about his dad. I didn't need the money, man. I just wanted the card. But you was always busy or like somewhere hella far. And ever since I made it, it seems like you never are. That's weird. Oh, when Chance, that chorus is perfect. That chorus is just fucking perfect. Like, there's nothing to say about it. It was just a perfect fucking chorus. Like, holy God. Oh my God. And oh man, this whole album, it's been giving you good vibes, nothing but good vibes. And then you get like the fucking heart is that second verse where he starts talking about his, insecurities. And then he goes like, yeah, look, the happy rapper's not so happy now. And it's like, now I remember when I used to laugh out loud. Nowadays I only LOL through text because I don't want to talk. Don't touch me. I don't want to feel. Like the way like I said, his voice is so perfect because it's so, like, it has that happy feel to it. And then when the mask sort of cracks and drops, you like your ear like hears for it, and you know what I mean? You go like, whoa, that changed. And when he says that, like, don't touch me, I don't want to feel, I was like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And oh my God, straight up and down, I'm just gonna say it. He's the new Slick Rick, bro.
Oh shit!
He's the rap game Slick Rick.
Hey, young world, it's the new Slick Rick.
Yo, do what it does. Do what that shit right there. Oh my God. When he fucking, at like halfway through the track and it sounds like he's like not rapping anymore. He's like, ha. And then he just kind of kept rapping. And I was like, oh, snap. Like it sounded like he was just doing like the shout out at the end of the track sort of thing. But then you're listening, it's like, wait, he's still flowing. Oh my God, he's still going. Oh shit.
I do want to correct myself though about really, being the worst one. Which was the one where he beat that horse? That fucking, I just want to give a shout out to Jesus.
That was the song.
That was that one? Dude, he needed to cut that shit out. That got old so fucking fast.
I loved it. It was hilarious.
Hey, Jesus, I want to give a shout out to Jesus, and over there, Jesus. And, my boy J-Dog in prison, but he goes by Jesus. I was like, all right, dude. You're fucking testing my patience with this.
That shit had me rolling. Like, that was really one of those, he's he's really not gonna stop.
Overall, though, man, like, I wish it didn't open with The Force, because I don't think that's as strong.
Yeah, that is the least memorable track. Like, I forgot that one existed, but
and because of the way he does kind of talk, it's almost like he's saying the voice. He's like, I got the voice. I got this.
Yeah.
What's that? But fucking feels good. Summertime Soul, dude. I'm saying this straight up now. Summertime Soul is a better summer jam than either of the songs Gambino just dropped.
Straight, I was thinking about that shit.
I hate to say it. Our boy kind of dropped the ball there. But Don't Wanna Fall in Love, all of this, really, yes, Super Duper Hero, even the part where he kind of drops the D word, which is kind of pointless. In the context, it was kind of, alright. Like, I don't want to seem hypocritical here when I'm like, I don't like when people say the F word, but I'm more accepting when people say the D word. But I think people aren't nearly as hateful when they use the D word. Like on the next album, he has fucking Kalani on the album, who is gay, so he's not...
And they bring it up.
Yeah, like, he's clearly not homophobic.
And it was in a way that kind of threw me off, too, but yeah, let's get back to... Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, overall, Smyle was a more memorable, upbeat, poppy experience than his second album.
Okay.
But I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying, like, I was way feeling Smyle more. And for Smyle, I'm thinking like somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5 for me. Because there weren't really that many low points. It's just that some songs are more memorable than other ones.
For me, man, I gotta give it a 5. I can't, like, there was no song that I was like, I don't like it. You know, like, his personality is fucking infectious. Like, you just can't, like, you can't, I dare you to listen to this album and not smile. Like, you know, at least at one point. And so, we decided to jump ahead for this next one, not wait a year.
Right, yeah, we're doing that shit now.
Light of Mine. Even though we're still like a month late, but still.
Yeah, better late than never, I suppose. Light of Mine.
Way.
Light of Mine by Kyle came out just earlier this year. Lead single with Kalani, featuring the I Spy single with Lil Boat, and a good bit more of Lil Boat throughout the album.
More about him in a second.
I want to ask you straight up, how did you feel about the running narrative with Lil Boat as Kyle's conscience?
This is gonna make me very...
Oh.
I liked it.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I know it was
You were here
stupid.
for Lil Boat.
It was so dumb. But I couldn't help it. Like, when both of them were just talking to her, there's no honest, bigger thing going on here. And, you know, the Lil Boat trying to act like he's just that guy is kind of like, I don't believe that. You're not that guy. Like, you know, when he says, like, I mean, I don't have problems. I'm Lil Yachty. Like,
where's your fucking album talking about your insecurities, Boat?
We have the song Ups and Downs, man.
Yeah.
First song, and I think it's a fucking masterpiece of a fucking song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. It's good. All right? It's really good. It's a good fucking introduction. I don't know what to say. Like, it's called Ups and Downs, and it literally takes you through his emotion. Like, emotionally, you get his ups and downs. Yeah, he talks about, like, you know, 8 months ago, you know, I was having a mental breakdown. Now I've got a hit song. Like, fucking life just moves.
How that shit just happens, yeah.
Yeah, like, so, and then I love that lyric where he says, you can smile even if you broke, yo. You could be a button or a boat.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, he's riding for his bro. He's riding for his bro.
What did he fucking say in that interview? I always forget the line.
Bro.
Chill. Chill. Like the laugh of, like, I can't believe how fucking hard you're taking this shit right now. You gotta like, calm the fuck down.
It's like, we don't know each other. Why are you so angry at me?
It's what makes me fucking believe the whole, like, all this negativity shit, you gotta leave that in the past. Like, that totally is who fucking, that's Lil Boat's deal. You know, like, I hate that I don't like his music more, because...
Yeah, right?
Personally, he seems like a really cool dude. Like, fucking, like Vert. He's not as cool as Vert. Like, every video I see of Lil Uzi Vert makes me love him that much more. Like, singing along in the car to his own shit, like, geeking out of his over his own stuff, and just seeming like a really relatable dude who's just, like, all about, like, feeling himself all the time. But I don't like the music as much, it's unfortunate. But here you have Kyle, who is kind of on that same level about, like, just, like, feel-good shit, but he's got 2 great fucking albums under his belt already, and Light of Mine, especially with that first track, is such a great sequel follow-up to, like, let you know, like, where this guy is at, like, for the last 3 years, like, how he's been and how I Spy has kind of changed his life. I was surprised it was even on this album, especially how it says, like, he even says it on the track, it says, this is just one of the throwaways.
Yeah, I figured it was going to be like, oh, it's probably not going to be there, and then, oh, okay, yeah, well, you know, they had to put this in for the album, you know.
Yeah, like,
to sell a couple more units, you know.
It feels like when they put Formation at the end of Lemonade. It's like, I didn't think they were going to, but I guess it helps that they did.
Or like when they put, what was that song, with Cardi B.
Oh, yeah, when they put Bodak Yellow on there.
It's like, this song's been out for, like, I'm pretty sure, like, over a year at this point.
Yeah, it was like, we gotta move those units. It's like, yeah, but you got fucking Rings, and I Like It, and Be Careful. Like, these are all really big singles. You didn't need, I guess they didn't know, you know, but, on this one, it's like...
I think they had no idea how big I Like It was gonna be, I don't think.
No, I fucking hear Be Careful on the radio around here more than I Like It.
Wow. Oh, man, no, I can't escape. I Like It.
I still think that fucking album's good, even though, again, I don't like her personally. But, like, on this one, Playing With Me with Kalani is, like, I don't know how much radio play it's getting, but it is such a strong single that it is one of my favorites.
It is baffling me that some of these songs are not number one. Babies? That should be the number one song on the radio station right goddamn now. With Alessia Cara.
Yeah.
The fucking glorious Alessia Cara. Jesus Christ.
Fucking like, coming through with the features on here.
Not one is wasted.
Nah.
I will say, like, if this was the on the soundtrack to the new Rugrats show, I would rock with it. I would give it a chance.
Fucking Carlson, he needs the theme to the new Rugrats.
Is he not that guy? Like, he is so that guy to do that.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
If you go on Spotify right now and you look up Kyle and you look up his singles, he has a song in there called In the Mix, I think. And it's a song sponsored by McDonald's, and it's about, like, mixing your drinks and stuff like that. And they reached out to him to fucking write the song about it. And dude, you don't even care that he's talking about McDonald's and that he's talking about the sodas or whatever. It's such a fucking bop that you don't even care that it's a goddamn corporate sponsored single. You're just like, I would listen to this regularly. I don't care that this is essentially a 2.5 minute commercial.
And, oh my goodness, though, but we gotta talk about Ship Trip. You can hear the smile that he's trying to keep in his voice. And then when it cracks at that one point at the end of the second verse, Mama moved to Vegas. I just hope she comes back now. Only way I'll see my cousin Dame is through the glass. Try to tell that nigga jokes, he ain't even laugh. Damn, I guess I'm not funny like that. Oh, that hurt. And at the end when he starts singing, he's like, a lot of my loved ones save me. If you know a place, please take me. Take me. And then, like, when he says it the second time, the crack in his voice, it's just so perfect that it's just like it just sounds like they cut that off right before he started fucking crying, man. Like, you can't tell me he was not about to goddamn cry. Then you have songs like Ikuyo, which, god damn it, can we make this happen? We gotta get some more K-pop, we gotta get some more J-pop. I want to hear more of this.
So fucking catchy, oh my god.
Woo! Sophia Black, 2 Chainz, and Kyle. Who knew? A winning fucking combination.
Who would have guessed?
Like, oh my god, I want to blast this shit down the block right goddamn now.
Which song was it? Oh, wait a second. I think I'm getting them confused again. Was it on Smyle or was it on Light of Mine that at the end of the track had like this sweet fucking like 8-bit video game music. Oh, that's right. It was at the end of Don't Want to Fall in Love.
Yeah.
And I was so mad. I was like, please let this be its own song. And it was just it was like, man, fuck, I wish it would have rapped over that. That's such an awesome, fun beat. But it was like, it's just a little, here's something for you.
And 2 Chainz, man.
He always comes through with the features, man. I'm telling you.
I could swear to God this guy used to be whack. Like, I swear to God, people.
You're having a hard time remembering, though. Did I dream him sucking? I could have sworn.
At the end of the first track, all of a sudden you hear a bunch of gunshots and you hear, "Lil boat, Lil boat, Lil boat," like all out of time, just sounding really weird, and I was just like, uh-oh.
What's happening?
Like, I got that feeling in the pit of my stomach, just like, oh no. Are we trying to like do some weird Adult Swim shit? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna get that fucking 11.5-minute MC Chris skit. Oh no.
But they kept it sparse.
Dude, I complain all the time about how long the fucking skits go. They did it on Logic. In my opinion, they did it on Prince Paul. They did it right on this one. They kept it to the fucking point. Yes.
Man.
It's just, hey man. And they did it in a way that it actually related to the songs.
Right. That's all I ask.
Is that so much? Yeah, is that so hard? Just, hey, we need a little skit to introduce the next song, and it's about having problems in a relationship. Having fucking a little boat just in there going, man, you sound like you're having a problem with ladies. Like, that's fine. That's fine. And I love the whole, like, nah. Like, Kyle's still trying to, like, act like he's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
The personality on this album, I can't talk enough about it. It's so fucking awesome.
I would watch a fucking YouTube show with these 2 guys. Like, I would. I think I would, dude. Yeah, oh my goodness. Like, they work off of each other.
Yeah.
What was it? This album is bursting with personality. That's the thing that I wrote down. This is bursting. Every song feels like it has its own identity. Whenever he does do the sort of comedic dark sarcasm, it stabs through, like the meaning stabs through the music because everything is so like tightly just happy. Everything is so fucking, the beginning of the Lego movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you get that like sharp wit, that actual pain, and this is why I have to smile because I'm not gonna let this get me, and oh my God, man, dude. This is an awesome fucking album. I cannot believe. Oh my God.
Dude, like, you just got me thinking about it. I'm looking at the cover of Light of Mine, where it's like, it's Kyle, and he's got all this color lighting around him. It looks like he's in the middle of a ContraPoints video. And he's just kind of got like a, kind of look on his face. Like, if you're surrounded by that kind of like light and energy, you'd imagine he'd be happy, but nah. Just kind of.
It is interesting that the last album is called Smile, and this album is him not smiling.
Yeah, and it looks like he's in an environment where you should be, but nah, I'm not. So it really does just kind of like capture that. Just it's happy and shit, but not necessarily happy though.
Dude, straight up and down, like, I get paid tomorrow. I'm buying both of these albums.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell I've been waiting on, what I've been putting off. Even the little comedy bit on here I thought did better on the last one. On It's Yours.
Yeah.
Where it's talking about him losing his virginity, and he's just like, and then he's like acting like he's accepting an award. He's like, "Hey man, I just want to thank all my friends for sticking with me. I want to thank Genuine for being my inspiration. Where's Genuine? Come up here, Genuine. Give it up for Genuine. What the hell are you even doing here?" That shit. Like, sometimes the jokes go on too long. I was fine with the ending of that one. I thought that worked just fine.
Oh my Lord. And then, like, you know how sometimes an album just does it. There's something about the sequencing, something about the addition of the other music that just gives that extra oomph to the original track that kind of you feel like wasn't there in the original, and like by itself. And I'll be damned, I do kind of like fucking I Spy a little bit more. Although I didn't necessarily hate it before because I did like Kyle's parts. But it was like, even then, like by that point, I was endured to Little Yachty, and it was just like, all right.
It's fucking magical. You had that Grinch moment where your fucking heart grew 4 times.
You know, like, okay, so I've heard that line, the fucking, like, balls in, but that's Zach. Like, I've heard that so many times that it's annoyed me. But, like, this time, I felt that a special, like, Lil Yachty is like, I'm back again, You know I'm that guy.
And you're just like, I'm not even fucking mad.
Yeah, right.
God damn it. Dude, if Smyle is, I'm gonna say 4.5, I probably would lean closer to 4 with this one, because I did like Smyle a little bit more, but dude, I'm buying both of these. Absolutely. I'm recommending these so damn hard. I thought Emine was the only feel-good success story from last year's class. Kyle is right the fuck up there, dude. I'm watching both of these so hard. But that about wraps it up for this very varied in tone episode of the Going Off podcast. Thank you for sticking with us with the first half, for the feel-good second half. And if this just happens to be your first time listening, that's quite an introductory episode. But all of our old episodes are on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Just search Going Off Podcast. That's GOIN apostrophe off podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can subscribe to the show so you can hear all the episodes as soon as they drop. And you can follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Patreon. Like we said earlier, Smyle was a Patreon requested album review. And who knows if we ever would have talked about it if it wasn't for that album review. So there could be albums that you might want us to talk about that you could introduce us to. And until next week, for the aforementioned Going Off podcast, I'm Muse.
And I'm Rap Critic. And hey, remember to smile.